Hey everyone, Hussein here, and today we have another episode where I'm going to continue with charting the Mediterranean Sea. I was charting lastly about North Atlantic Ocean, where we introduced hostile waters, where I made some brief explanation what hostile waters are, and that it is basically a PvP zone where players can attack you, with some exemptions when you are a total level of 50 or 49 or less, or no, none of your class level is at 30 or higher. There's also a further protection where the highest class of your level is taken into account versus the higher class of the player that wants to attack you. And if the attacker has double or more than that, you are still safe from that. And we talked about privateers and pirate players, the difference between them. I introduced also Geo Navy, how that works. Again, about the Geo Navy program. Be sure if there's any change for the TOS, make sure to check that out. And as lastly is, I have just discovered myself that XP gets shared with charting whenever you do battle or trade oriented things to complete investigation. So keep in mind that XPs can be shared across. And lastly, we talked about equipment laying tool. There's not a lot we have covered, perhaps maybe in the last episode. I'm not sure, but as we progress, we may not cover too much, as at this point you may get quite some basic knowledge that we have already covered. So as what I'm planning to do is, I've mentioned we're gonna chart Mediterranean Sea, discover ports, and I want to introduce land battle as well. So I have already a weapon with me that because the reason is the quest is leading us to the outer gates of the port, which is also what we're gonna talk. So without further ado, before we go further, I'm gonna see if we can get any quests. Again, my equipment is currently layered. If the display image shows what I'm appearing from others, etc. But what I'm actually equipping is my student uniform. So now let's see if there's any job. No. Job quests do not appear very often. Maybe I have to graduate, perhaps, which I'm not sure about it. The only downside for this, for my sailors, is that the archive is so far away from the rest. Like it can be insane. As a reminder for the layering tools, is these equipments that are laid now, only the formality and the diskeys stats pass on. Oh yes, I will put the note on my previous episode, which I'm gonna put a note here in as well. If there's a specific requirement, like a job restricted outfit or equipment that you want to layer, if you meet the requirement, like you're on a battle job and you equip it through layering tools, once you change your job, it won't be unequipped, like it stays there. So once you layer it, the requirements are irrelevant as long as you don't unlayer the part of the equipment by using the tool again. Now let's do a quick archive read. Alright, we got Headache and we have received another treasure map. Ooh, this one we cannot do. There is a difference now compared to other maps. You can see here navigation to Baltic Sea. However, there is a restriction Aside from recognition, we need an unlock skill rank 3. An unlock skill is something we can talk about later, how important that skill is for later. We can actually learn both of the skills here. However, we have currently not enough skill slots, so we have to save that map for later. So I'm gonna talk about unlock skill later. Nice. Now let's chart the Tyrrhenian Sea. Wow, these galleons are everywhere. Now, just a note about this before we discover the port. This port is an Islamic port, and the Islamic port has something unique compared to normal ports. In Islamic port, you cannot enter without some diskeys level. I have probably mentioned at the first episode. That is where diskeys level plays an important role, and luckily your student close case gives 20 diskeys. For Algerians, 20 diskeys is usually enough. And how do you recognize an Islamic port is when you look at the chart. Islamic port, it has a more Islamic symbol on the map. These supports a symbol that they fall under that category. For each Islamic port you need a certain diskeys level in order to enter it. Here's a table that you can see how much diskeys you need. Most in North Africa that we're gonna explore requires up to 20 diskeys. Some territories here require somewhat higher, and then in the Red Sea the diskeys level can go up between 30 to 50, and Istanbul can go up to 60. So keep in mind, if you want to enter those ports, be sure that you have sufficient diskeys or diskeys outfit with you ready to carry on. This is also one of the things why equipment laying tool shines here. So once you lay it, you never have to worry. If you lay a diskeys outfit, you never have to worry about changing your equipment each time. Especially if adventurers or traders that wish to trade or do discoveries within those areas, or those that wants to do battle report. there are two factors, or at least three factors, that can curb the skills requirement. The first thing is if you have the language skill that is acquired within those Islamic ports, you have minus 10 the skills requirement. So, for instance, Istanbul, if you have Turkish, or your skills requirement drops to 50 here, and if you have Arabic here, for instance, you can have you need only 10 skills instead of 20. Another factor is that if some Islamic ports are allied ports, like neutral ports, unlike what you see in Algiers, that is an Ottoman territory, but if an Islamic neutral port is not an Ottoman allied port, but by an European nation allied port, that means that the skis on those Islamic ports are not longer required. And then there is also an exempt, and that is something we may talk about much later in the episode, that if you're an Ottoman players, I will explain how you can become Ottoman much later, but the benefits for them is they don't need any skis on any Ottoman places when they want to go. And then there's another one that is diplomatic status from court officer on emperor election, which is another topic way later to explain. But that also gives you a temporary effect, not to understand the world language, but that you are exempt from any skis you need to enter the Islamic port. So that is what I want to tell, and be sure that you have always those outfits, otherwise you cannot enter no matter what. So let's see if we can sell our trade goods here. Make some profit. Oh yeah, another thing in mind. Islamic ports do Indian ports, and I believe even Australia ports. I may correct it if I have got something wrong, but these two, they don't usually accept alcohol, so you won't be able to sell any alcoholic goods, and pork is not even accepted in Islamic ports either, so keep in mind you cannot sell alcohol here in those regions. Oh yeah, in case you have always formality issues, Perfumes can help you to talk with higher level NPCs. Are you gonna take one? Because I haven't personally tried myself when I started, so who knows how much it can help. And then in Algiers there is a very famous NPC that you may encounter in certain storylines. It is Hayreddin, one of the most fearful pirates in Ottoman. Okay, so I actually never talked to Hayreddin before, but when I was looking up things way back, I have heard Hayreddin can give you some advice, and it has some indirect effect benefits, which I found here under the table on the Japanese wiki that you can read. I don't know if they work exactly what is here described, but that's what I'm gonna figure out here. You appear, and you can see that this message is given here. Okay, I have no idea how that exactly works. I will put it in the notes how Hayreddin works, because it is a pretty interesting feature that you can try out. Let's carry on the charting. Whoa, that was close. Now these NPCs there can be very aggressive. And because they have a galley, those ships tend to have a much higher crew than flagships. Most of them are very melee orientated. And because we have almost no melee skills, it's gonna be very hard to deal with them. Even if we try to sink them with cannon, most of the time they can reach new players at ease without any precaution or counter. Okay, this brings us nearly to Tripoli. Wow, we have to fish a lot. So you see here a lot of galley ships. Make sure if you want to visit any Islamic port or want to sail past, make sure not to get too close to them unless you have all the experience in battle from the moment you start maritiming. Sorry. Now we discovered another Islamic port. Let's see if we can find here another music instrument. Oh, we cannot find a drum here. Maybe we have to invest here. Wait, let me check the chart. Because I was pretty sure you could get the music instrument from there. But let's finish charting first. Now that is just a little side note. The bank and the shortcut is there, and that is where I had my old company. Wow, more people are around here. Nice. So it's so more companies are starting to settle here. Our next destination is Tripoli. I probably don't need caution skill for this because the sailing trip isn't that long. Oh, there are so many NPCs here, we have to be careful. Oh, those are bandits. Nice, you have Tipuli discovered as well. Let's talk to the West Oak Master. Oh yeah, a smoke pipe that I still sometimes see in Turkey when I went on vacation. Unlike a normal alcohol, you can get passed out easily with this. So make sure not to overtake this one. No, I cannot afford those. Nice, some slightly money saved. Gonna see if we can sell this in Naples. We definitely have to graduate from Advanced Adventure because cargo hold for the purpose of making profit. I want to show later about the local specialty combo, however that's gonna be very difficult with the limited amount of hold we are carrying with us, so... Oh yeah, small thing indeed. I may have forgot to mention it, but if you try to fish and your cargo hold is full already, be aware that it will be discarded automatically. Ooh, a strong fleet. Pretty strong one for me at least. Anchoring our ship to get fishing done for charting. Only one more. Nice. That's a lot of adventure XP we gained. Holy smokes. Now next one obviously becomes Ionian Sea. Now we are at Naples. Oh yeah, I forgot to check we can get a drum on... so I was pretty sure we could get those in Tunis or such. But I believe investment is required. Yeah, I thought so. Nice, that's a small profit. Let's fill our figure first. Wow, that's quite some folklore we are covering. So enough figure with us. Now it says time to go to the landing. And there is the gatekeeper. Let's talk about landing points. It's because it's the first time that we are about to enter. You have two kinds of landing points. The ones that you see on the map with a tree icon. These are a type of areas where you can explore. Those are not considered ports, and even if you don't have the port permit, you are able to enter the landing points after docking here. Keep in mind when you use the landing point, the days of sailing won't be reset, and so even if you leave the landing, the amount of distance still counts over it, and before you actually adventure XP is calculated whenever you go to another port. And you have a landing that can be entered through gates that some ports have, which is in this case Naples. And here we have quests that ask us to go somewhere outside Naples. I should forget flowers. We're gonna ask the gatekeeper to go in. Here you are, welcome to the landing point. This is how it looks like, where you see mostly nature or forest, or it can be also desert, etc. these places are meant to explore, especially for adventurers or traders and even mad timers. For the landing point in yeah, what we do for adventure is we try to discover the relic for this quest, and it's somewhere in the red flower. Now, like with sea, surveying skill helps us tremendously. So if you click on surveying, a map shows again here, and you are able to tell where you are right now. This is the exit point, and these are the landmarks, which can be which are marks that can be either trees, flowers, or any other objects. The purpose of these are marked that players can go there, especially if they have charted lands, and there are 3 things that you can do here. You can go for discovery, explore, and do land charting in the future. You can also collect or procure trade goods or ingredients that you need for a specific production purpose or rare trade good purpose. Rare trade good is something we're going to discuss later about it. Or you can fight against bandits, and we can see one over here. Bandits do spawn in specific areas in the landing, and like with sea battle, land NPCs can be aggressive, especially if your battle level is too low, so they can actually attack you as well. And land battle is basically where I'm gonna show some basic about it. Land battle is basically battle that takes place in land. Aside from sea battle, you have also land battle, which is also something that plays an important key role. You'll encounter this when you are exploring in landing, or when you are in Colosseum, which is another topic we talk for later, or whenever you do deck battle, which is another topic I will show you how you can initiate that. And you have also dungeons where land battle can play an important key roles. And you have for land battle several weapon classes. And let me see, for our class we picked a club and staff. Each weapon has its category, and the category is they are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 categories at least. You have a sword, an axe, a spear, a club and a staff, which we have. Those are close range weapon, which has the shortest range of 50. And then you have a spear that has is also classified as melee weapon, close range weapon, and that one gives has a slightly longer range at 80. And then you have throwing knives, which we have here as well, which I'm gonna show you how you can switch weapons during land battles simultaneously. That is has a range of 100, and then the longest range are bow, gun, pistols, and crossbow. And they have the longest range out there. And the weapon speed in order is for throwing knife and pistols are the fastest. Second, a club of staff, which is why I have this, because our attack speed is so much higher of our base attack. And then you have sword, spear, and bow, and axe is one of the slowest, and the most slowest is gun and crossbow. However, with the gun and crossbow in exchange, you have a higher chance to deal critical damage, and the close melee weapons allows you to outguard at some certain moment that you receive only half the damage. So, for the weapon that I'm equipping, skills that plays an important role in land. Marching skill is one of the important skills, especially for adventurers. This basically lowers the fatigue that you gain in land, and as you spend more time in landing, the fatigue of your sailor raises, and if this reaches 100, you lose some sailors over time, so keep an eye out on that. It's not per se a must-have, however, if you plan to go through landing as an adventure a lot, I do highly recommend to have this. Especially if you want to avoid to reduce rate that bandits attack you. And then procurement and collection, these are important as well to collect crops or trade goods that you want to have or ingredients. Search to collect some items that you can find in the landmark. And observe skill important for discovery, but we have those artisan perception for it. And let's see. There are some trap techniques or something we'll discuss about later, but I'm gonna say now trap skill is a skill for adventurers that get adventure-based techniques being learned. And for trade is that merchandise knowledge, which is also pretty important to have. Storage skill plays also a role for land battle in case you get defeated, the amount of loss gets reduced by the skill, so another important reason to have the skill. And then as for the battle, swordplay is very important, and it's the skill that I don't have still, and which I should have learned actually. But swordplay is basically a basic skill you need for melee battle, but also for close ranged land battle weapon like my club and staff. So swordplay increases your attack power by about +3 each, or more. I'm not sure. I'll put the formula in the notes for the land battle stats. And this applies also for weapons in land battle: sword, axe, club, staff, and spear. Sword mastery contributes this further for close range weapon. Keep in mind, sword mastery only focuses on land battle and not on sea battle. So, in case you do mostly melee battle, this one isn't per se necessary, unless you plan to deck battle. And then you have gunfire, which is pretty important for gun and pistol weapons that you use in order to this get proficiency aside from using it in melee, allowing you to grind this as well in land. And sniping skill, basically for gun, pistols, bow and crossbow, attack power gets increased and you gain proficiency by using those weapons. And you have bow attack that increases the crit rate of bow and crossbow attacks, which can be very handy if you love to use ranged weapons. So yeah, and oh yeah, almost forgot, for adventure, throwing weapons can be throwing knives can attack power raises and speed raises by having this skill, and you gain proficiency by using throwing knives. And that is all so far I want to share. And recognition is also important for land and ecological research as well for discovery purpose. So these are the skills as far as I know that that can help you out in land. So be sure to have one of those skills if you want to go through landings more often. Of course, if you have the skill slots for it, because managing of it can be a pain. So now we know the skills, and now let's talk about land battle. To initiate land battle, you have to either be attacked in land or you have to engage land battle, and we're gonna pick this NPC. And as you can see, he is the one that attacked us. And here I come pretty unprepared. By clicking on the NPC, you can see you are now automatically attacking the NPC. So it's basically like a bit in a RuneScape fashion where one attacks and the other one attacks as well, and the weapon determines your attack speed. And you can see the NPC is using some trap techniques, an adventure-based tech. The bars here shows our stamina we have. Okay, that wasn't the best example, but we came a bit unprepared. For land battle you can also plunder items, but the plunder is something we're gonna talk about also later. Now, your attack power for land is determined by the equipment of your attack power of your equipment, plus the skill that your weapon gets attack power from. For this case, is swordplay or sword mastery, and the stat the another thing that adds attack power is the class job that you're associated with. So plus 15 from adventure. If I were be in battle, it will be plus 5. If I were in trade-based job, it will be plus 9. And this is also the same for defense, that these values also contributes to that. And you have also aside from equipment, land battle items. Let's go into that. And here you can see backup equipment. We are currently already equipping a weapon, and here by basically suggesting a weapon, the weapon is the one that you register is the one that you can use in land battle by swapping the weapon. And inventory item represents the ones that you can register in for land battle. Those are land battle items, and those are very crucial to survive in land battle. So let's equip those. For land battle items, you have we have an antidote to recover yourself from abnormal status effect, medication to recover our stamina. But there are also land battle items that you can use to enhance yourself, such as your attack power or defense power, or you can use it to directly damage the enemy from explosive or catapults, or give them animal status effect, which I will show you an example later for that. Now we have adjusted that, and I believe a weapon disciple shows you with the forte weapon on the right, the weapons that you are mastering at. Forte points represent how great your mastery is on that weapon, and each point gets added as more land battle you do. The higher the points, the higher the level the NPCs are required in order to gain points. You can gain up to 1000 points, and each 25 points gives a 1+1 attack on your character. And also, if you learn and this applies for each weapon, you get only +1 forte points, but you get way more forte points if this one, for instance, is at a high forte points like 1000 for instance. If you do another club and staff, that one will be grinding faster because you are already familiar with another club and staff weapon. Finest rank is shown here on the left. As you can see, it's not visible because we haven't done any techniques yet. And techniques, it cannot be, we haven't any techniques yet. You have adventure technique, trade techniques, and battle techniques. Now for adventure, you need to have at least a trap skill in order to learn anything, so we cannot learn anything from it so far, as far as I know. For trade one, we need merchandise knowledge, which we cannot, we have no access on that skill yet. For battle, swordplay, sword mastery, gunfire, and sniping becomes important at some point. Same for throwing. However, for weapons, the techniques can range from rank 1 to rank 4, and rank 5 is a mastery tag. Rank 1 and rank 2 weapon tags can. Rank 1 weapon tanks can be basically just learned by having the weapon equipped and using it against the enemy. From rank 2, you need to have then the skill to learn it. Techniques are very hard to obtain, the chances are pretty low to learn it, so it can take a while to learn a technique. For battle techniques, it's called weapon tags, which for we have club and staff tags that you can learn. I hope you can learn it pretty quickly, but I do not expect. It all comes down how lucky I am to learn it. Or if the NPC, you can learn techniques in two ways. One is randomly, rank 1 and rank 2 can be learned from random enemies, although the chances aren't that high. However, you can learn them fast if the NPC uses that technique against you or your friend in the land battle, and if you defeat them, the chances of mastering that tag drastically increases. Although it is far from guaranteed, but it is still an increased chance. From rank 3 or higher, learning techniques becomes harder, and the best way to learn is to find a specific NPC that uses this technique against you, so keep that in mind. Now let's initiate the land battle again. And we're gonna click on attack. Now we are the ones to initiate attack. And as you can see, it uses an explosive land battle item against me. And I have this is our stamina. The bar you see, blue stamina is our stamina, and the red one is the stamina of our enemy. We use medication to heal our stamina. You can see the stamina on the left above character. On the right side you see an interface. The first 4 slots here are land battle items that you can use during land battle. And you can on the right see your attack power and defense power. Each +4 attack adds +1 damage on you towards the enemy, and each +10 defense is -1 damage you receive from the enemy. And the 3 empty bars you see here, those are techniques that can spawn in, but we have currently no land battle tags yet, so we won't have any here. And the purple chart shows the action gauge, and usually the action gauge depends on how much figure is being filled on your character. On full figure you have a maximum gauge, and that is if you have no figure at all, the amount of gauge you start is at 0. At maximum figure is 100. And fatigue, sailor's fatigue also contributes the factor how much stamina you can have. I mean, how much stamina you start from the maximum. The higher the fatigue, the less stamina from the maximum you start with. And as you can see, I'm running around because the NPC is using a melee weapon. And because I'm too far away, I'm out of reach. So... And you can see I'm targeted and locked to the NPC, but it's showing in green, which means that I'm not attacking it and he's out of reach. But whenever I'm close enough, I can attack him, and by double clicking on confirming the target, I start auto attacking him, much like he does to me. And just the thing, here's the formula of the stamina, how it is determined. It basically is determined mostly on your total level, and the class job you're in, that gives the highest factor on your stamina. You can see on this formula. So the higher the levels you get, the more stamina you have, and the greater the chance your survival rate becomes in land battle. And above you see a sword icon. That sword icon represents the gauge that builds up if you do any action against the NPC or using any techniques. This one determines which techniques will show up, and as you can see, it's just shown in 1. As this gets filled up, it will become 2, 3 and 4, which determines the rank techniques that can show up then. If it becomes 2, rank 2 techniques can show up at some point. And at 3 it will be a rank 3 techniques, but each time the gauge goes up, it requires more action to be filled. And in Fleet this requirement is even higher, so if you are with a friend and a friend does nothing and while you do the work, it takes much longer to fill this, so keep that in mind. So yeah, and that is all I have to add. There is another function that I forgot, change weapon. So as you can see, I have to be very close to reach this NPC. It's like literally this close. But let's say you want to able to attack him from farther away. Well, I have adjusted my backup weapon, the throwing knife. I'm gonna switch it, which takes, by the way, 50 action points. So the action point shows a yellow bar that represents whenever you use item attack, how much of your action gauge will be used. Action gauge builds up by +3 or +4 if you have a battle job. Oh yeah, the job class level also has some impact. Adventure job classes reduces the time it requires to use your adventure tags, the aka trap tags. And for a trade tags, the amount of action points that is required, aka gauge, is reduced by 25%, so you can use item tag more easily. And battle is basically allowing you to build more gauge here for that sword, and action points may cover quicker. And You get also 10% bonus on your land battle stats in land battle. That is also something important to consider. But yeah, now I want to switch the weapon. And as you can see, I'm using my throwing knives. And unlike my club and step, I can reach the NPC from further away. So they have to come close to you in order to hit you. Which can be very funny and helpful in case you want to attack from the distance. But the drawback is it doesn't deal as much damage as close range weapons usually. And another downside, you have no block range with the longer range weapon. And Rusty Sword is also specialized. And that is how land battle works. And as you can see, we have, because we have really used our Rusty Knife, Forte points is also added for that. If you switch from your weapon from land battle, and you use that weapon as well, both weapons will gain Forte points on it, as well as Finesse points, but we have no weapon tag to show that example. I know it's a lot to explain for land battle, but just a few things to know. Land battle, make sure to have your figure almost as full as possible to start the battle with as much action points as you can have. Pay attention on your sailor's fatigue. Oh, we are being attacked. And bounty. And it tried to use poison on me. Now that's another thing, it tried to give me poison status effect. Poison status effect lowers your stamina over time per second. So keep in mind to have always antidote with you. It's always a must-have because there are a variety of status effects that you can face from it. And so far we are luckily not poisoned, so. And we managed to defeat another NPC. Oh yeah, in land battle, you do not gain only battle XP, but you can also gain adventure XP at some point too, depending on the NPC, or trade XP. Battle XP is fully given if you're in a battle job, but if you have adventure or trade XP, the XP becomes more shared, so be aware that for land battle, adventure and trade classes have also their own important role for it. Anyways, that's for a land battle. Let's have a look around on Naples, and we have to search for the red flowers southeast. So I presume it means the flag on the southeast of the map. So yeah, these NPCs, because my battle level is pretty low, the chance of them attacking me is pretty high. So at this point, marching skill can help tremendously for that matter. Now this skill takes quite a lot of time to explore around the land, as you can see. And then going all the way to the exit can be very tedious, which I will show you later an item called Landmark Ribbon. Not sure when I get it at some point, but we'll. Now the NPC is using a club staff attack on me, Fierce Strike. And because he used Fierce Strike on me, the chances are now high that I can learn that attack, the Fierce Strike. I hope I'm lucky, but you never know. It's also a staff user like me. And he uses again! And it uses a rank 2 attack. You have to heal. No, unfortunate. No technique learned. Actually, it's a good point to maybe learn a technique. Oh yeah, just to make clear for the equipment. Attack power, again in summary, is determined by the attack of your equipment. Each value attack equipment adds to the land battle attack stats, as well as your swordplay, your sword mastery if you use close range weapon, or if you use sniping for gun, bow, pistols and crossbow, or throwing knives, that adds to this as well. And you get also some from weapon mastery, and every 4 attack in land battle again increase your damage by +1. And for defense, it's quite rather very straightforward. Defense power in your land battle is mostly determined on the current class job you're in, the job level of that. So for my case, adventure, so 16 plus 15 is 31. You get bonus 10% bonus stats for both attack and defense if you're in a better battle job, so that's also a small factor that adds in. Personally, I find the land battle is in the beginning balanced, but in long term, equipment's attack power is so high that I personally think that Kui should actually balance the mechanics, that the defense value should be much higher, because... But that's something I will discuss later about it. Just so you know what determines your attack and battle, defense and land battle. These are the factors. Here are the formulas. Now, let's see. It should be here somewhere. Ah, this is the glow that I'm talking about. The star shows in this map. And the glow is when you use Obscure, you can use Observe skill several times. In case you aren't sure if you're exactly in the discovery. Now we're exactly here. You're gonna use Search. Nice. And we received also an item. Some discovery can give items that can be helpful. And this one is acts as a leadership skill. At least I can deal with sailor quells when they are fighting. I see another bandit. I'm gonna see if I can learn a land battle technique from him. Hey mister, teach me! Sometimes your attacks can miss the NPC. And you can also receive critical damage, which is the double of the normal damage you receive. Unlucky. I'm a bit obsessed with those naval bandits because they use a club staff, and I can increase my chance by from learning it if they use technique on me. So let's try to learn at least one technique if we can. Ah, there you are. Wow, we keep missing. You can check the NPC HP by Seeing how much it has left. That's the stamina. I'm gonna wait till he uses technique on me to increase. I just guarded an attack. Come on, use a technique. I want to learn it. Just keep in mind that learning text is one of the most tedious thing out there, so it is one of the most grindiest things you can do, especially if it comes to weapon tech. I mean, rank 1 isn't bad, rank 2 isn't also bad either, but from that point you have to grind your finesse a lot, which you may later see in the later episodes. Oh, he doesn't want to use his technique, so we're gonna kick you out. I might as well increase the chat box here so we can see what we get. But yeah, you can grind your battle also through land battle, but these NPCs levels are it's not the best way to grind your battle XP here. I highly suggest do it through battle reports still, which I can, which I will show you an example how to battle report later. Right now I'm focused on getting a technique if these NPCs are kind enough to give it to us. Now, this one is a bow user, so what happens is that he can attack me from far away. Like, it has a very long range attack. Oh yeah, we have now 22 fatigue, so I think we start with slightly less stamina. I expect 11% less. Yeah, I was right about it's rounded up as well, so instead of 140 stamina I started with 124. And our gauge start recovers over time by +4 instead of +3, and you can see the gauge on the sword went up, means that I can use rank 2 attacks if I even had one, so keep always an eye on it. It used Change Strike on me, so it means that I have a chance to learn a Change Strike technique. Unfortunate, no technique, but we have another treasure chest. Oh yeah, you see sometimes on those sword icon appearing red, blue or yellow. There are 3 types of affinity tags being involved: power, quick and faint. Those are the representing tags. Power tag basically is a technique that increases your attack power temporarily. It's not shown on the stats cell, but it's an invisible buff. The quick tag is basically a chance that gives you a chance to attack an extra time on your turn. And feint tag is basically an attack that gives a passive effect of increasing your crit rate greatly. Okay, we use a free strike, a power tag. No luck still. Let's see how long it takes till I get my first technique, so it's gonna be interesting. Oh yeah, even if your defense is high to the point that it, in theory, that it should be 0, you always receive 1 to 3 damage regardless, so... You can see also a warning sign when an enemy is about to use a trap technique on you. And he used beacon on me. That does trap attacks are pretty deadly because it has a splash range damage that can hit multiple enemies. I will show you. I plan to learn trap skills so I can use some trap attacks. Because trap attacks are very helpful compared to trade and weapon attacks, because they can make a huge difference. Even if the NPC is like 20 levels higher than you, if you know how to use your trap attacks, you can really make a huge difference in land battle. Now, enemy uses numbers induce on me, trying to paralyze me or Medusa head. Paralyze is basically that I won't be able to move or do anything. So I'm basically vulnerable. Ooh, battle level 6, nice, and we have reached a total level of 30. As our battle level increased, well, it doesn't. Battle and trade is each 2 level of battle or trade gives plus 5 stamina, and adventure gives then a full plus 5 per level. So it really depends what job you're in. So keep in mind when switching a job, let's say from trade, if your trade level is 50 for instance, then and your adventure is 30. If you change from trade jobs to adventure job, don't be shocked when your land battle starts lower, because keep in mind the class level also plays an important role depending what job class you're in. No, it did use a technique on me. I guess we're gonna speed up a bit with this video, because I don't know how long this may take. Ooh, that is something to keep in mind. But the enemy took a tonic, and there are some land battle items that gives them a berserk state. That means that their attack power is doubled. Right now it doesn't look a big deal when you see it with this NPC because they are low levels. But at higher levels, if you see an enemy with the berserk, make sure that is another reason why trap tags are very perfect, because even with your land battle healing items, it can be very tough to survive. Okay, I guess I'm not lucky. Oh wait, you can learn... How we can learn swordplay. But yeah, as you can see, that is how painful it can be to learn techniques. As you also see, our fatigue has increased drastically. It's why important to have... that is how much March you can kill, and it can actually help to prevent such a drastic increase. So be sure to have always figure proof with you if you don't have the skill, and also pay attention for a land battle. Your weapon tend to lose more durability as you do more land battle with it. So keep that also in mind. Oh! Oh, we didn't need to report that. I mean, it's gift her. Well, that does save a lot of time. Sir, my crew does need some fatigue recovery. Thank you, sir! Let's have a look at the item shop. So, sir, let's see what you have. I may take this, because who knows. And we're gonna use some throwing knives. Now we have some weapons we can sell. There we go. And let's head to Athens. Wait. Let's double check if we can take a good quest that can lead us there. Always a bonus point. Where we have some trade goods received. Yeah, why not? We can do this when we eventually head back to Portugal. Do you sell landmark ribbons? I hope so. Yeah, look at that. We're gonna grab 20 of these. Okay, no, the rates aren't that good here. Those golden hints you see there, these are also part of the event, so they are not usually in those seas, so in case you ever see such an unusual ship, most of the time they are events and are not meant to be aggressive. Oof, this is gonna be hard. There are many strong NPCs out there. That is Benghazi. Oh yeah, I'm in a green sauna, but that's usually protecting you from PvP in hostile waters. I'm not sure if that applies here. Okay, apparently avoid those galleys at all costs, especially if you are not battle orientated. Sweet, and our charting done. We will chart the Adriatic Sea, East Mediterranean Sea, and Black Sea later. Because for this one and this one, I had an experience that you have to do, and discovery is mandatory, and I don't think we can do that, so we have to halt charting it for now. But we managed to get a lot of XP out of it, so can't complain. Those Gallias or Lamorts are also part of the event, so make sure not to get scared of seeing these biggies. Now Athens we have discovered too. And there are some bunch of skills that I want to learn. Oopsie! We got drunk again. Our first skill I want to learn is... Okay, it's from an adventure GM. And we are getting broke, so we have to be make sure not to overspend. That's always a thing, we have to... With the current ship we have, it's kind of still hard to make profit. But you can actually still a lot by selling some of these gemstone processing toolkit. It can go up between 1.5 to 3 mil, so for those who want to go to the shorter way, you can actually gain a lot from those already. It's just I show it away in case people have no knowledge or can't find a way to sell those items, so I just go for the worst scenario case. Okay, we have to decide to move Gunny for now, and Martikino Estate, let's go to him. There you go, a salvage skill being learned. Usually I don't recommend to get rescue skill, especially if you do mad timing or salvage skill, but the thing is also, I don't use, if you have no skill slots, always make sure to have lifesavers with you, so you can always revive yourself if things go out of hand. Unfortunately, we won't be able to learn trap techniques for now. Okay, we managed to organize somewhat. We have swordplay at least, so we can grind in some ways. Now I'm gonna show an example of how to initiate a deck battle, which is a part of a land battle as well. I'm gonna find the right NPC to do so. No, that might be a bit too much. Gonna see if we can find a good NPC to take as an example. Let me see how much crew these ships have actually. If this is a bit too strong, we have to be careful. Oh, not bad. Okay. You have a fair chance to initiate deck battle for that. And you initiate deck battle by pressing the button here, but it's not always a guaranteed success, so the higher your crew is versus your enemy, the higher the chance becomes. Still no luck. The sailor still is obstructing it. Wow, we are unlucky. Now, let's go. This is how deck battle looks like. You can skip this scene by right-clicking the applicant so that... but I can help a little to see this view. Like, it's sometimes fun to see this scene. TT, let's go! Let's teach those bandits a lesson. Ooh, they are somewhat stronger, so we have to be careful. I use a knife, a throwing knife, which causes extra damage to the captain. Also, when you are also in deck battle, you will disappear, the ring and the whole battle disappears, so maybe people from outside won't see you anymore for a while until the deck battle is finished. So you're basically in a whole different area, so to speak. And that is how you can do deck battles. Alright, let's take an example. I'm gonna show another example. I'm actually curious about the retreat mechanic on deck battle. I only hope I don't end up losing a lot, but even so, we have an insurance for it. So. Oops! I forgot I have ramming skill. I mean, I have ramming equipped. No! No, 9! Alright, let's try with those bandits instead. These small fries keeps being sunken. Okay, that is how ramming skill works. Why? Why does ramming now happen at the moment that I don't want to show ramming? Come on! Ooh, we barely survived the ending. And let's show you how you skip this. Now let's take one of them down, and then we're gonna try to see how retreat works. Now let's say I want to retreat. So basically you have 10 seconds before the end timer applies, and then you can see if it works or not. So let's say your deck battle doesn't... Retreat succeeded and deck battle. As you can see, we are out safely, so in case you feel like the enemy starts strong for you can always try to retreat on deck battle. However, keep in mind it can fail, but each attempt increases the success rate of it. Alright, for the final part of this episode, we're gonna show you, we're gonna introduce you also a dungeon where land battle plays also a key role. And for those who have started, especially from France or Venice, the easiest dungeon is in Syracuse Church. You have also another church in Bordeaux, however the NPCs levels are much higher, like level 40 plus, so a warning for new players not to go to Bordeaux Church unless you have really, unless you are very well prepared and have a decent level. For those who want to start dungeons, Syracuse is what I recommend. And then there's another dungeon that I want to unlock, which is the pyramids. However, I was unlucky to get a job to get theology favorite, because you need rank 2 theology. To unlock Skiza dungeon, I do remember you needed about 4,000 adventure fame in order to unlock the quest. Hey! Naughty mouses. How dare they? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, swordplay is also, you get also proficiency by spending time in melee battle aside from land battle, just so you know. Although with land battle it's actually much more efficient to grind swordplay, but melee is also a good way in case you love plundering NPCs in sea battles, so it's on you what you prefer. And we are here at Syracuse, the port that has also a church where we're gonna visit the dungeon. But let's sell what we have, if we have anything, of course. Ah, I see. Wow. Our folklore gets filled pretty fast. Now let's check. I might as well sell that weapon. Me gonna save our staff over here. So, like with any MMO game, in the Uncharted Waters Online, you're also able to have dungeons that you can enter to explore the deep ruins. The churches are automatically accessible, as the Syracuse, the Roman dungeon, and then church, and the Bodox church, and you have also church in. I'm not sure, I forgot if you have the access to do a quest to do the Church of Lima. But Roman Church and Borax Church are very dangerous, Rome especially. The safest one to start with is Syracuse. In order to start, you see a question mark. Wait, I'm not sure. Wait. Okay, what I tried to say, if you see in a church that has a dungeon, you see an exclamation mark and a question mark. When you click on it, you see to the dungeon. It is how you. One thing to keep in mind is, if you are in a fleet, when you are in a fleet, everyone has to be present in the church or an area where you initiate a dungeon, otherwise you won't be able to enter it. And here you can see the description of the church, the history behind it. And the red star is a sign that the dungeon has hidden passages available. Here you can speak with your sailors to talk about the dungeon. Now, let's ask about devices, because many dungeons have devices now. Usually dungeons are mostly focused for adventurers, as you can here see, especially when it comes to activating devices. We can see so if you have a great adventure skill and experience in those devices, you don't have to do land battles in that dungeon, but I don't think we can do that. I'm not sure, but there's also a hidden passage which we will see that will bring you into the deeper hidden floors that are given with the question marks soon, but we're gonna see that for later. From my experience, the device you activate increases the chances quite greatly. What is this one? Oh yeah, the meteor level. So let's enter the dungeon to see what's actually. So the dungeon, you see here time lapse. It shows the amount of time you're spending in the floor. The emitti value, which the sailor has explained, is how agitating the enemies become when they spot you. If the emitti increases if you are being seen by the enemy, or if they start to notice you. The closer you get to the enemy, the higher the emitti becomes, and if it is 100, they will start attacking you. And the treasure icon and the door icon shows unopened, locked. treasure. When they are unlocked, you can open treasure chests that you can find in Syracuse. Let me see. Yep, these are the treasure chests that we are talking about. And then the next floor, let's see where that is. We have to make sure not to get spotted by the enemies. See here another treasure chest. Here you can see the NPCs. Now we have to make sure not to get noticed by them. If you are on their backs, then it's less likely they notice you, but if you come too close, they will start having the image increased. As you can see, it goes up. And thus will decrease over time as you spend time without being seen by them. And it is the question mark is the rune that you can interact with to go to the next floor. You can do 3 choices: proceed further, which we can't yet because it's unopened. Quit the exploration, return outside. If you feel like the dungeon is getting unsafe, be sure to do that. Max stamina is shown on the left again to remind you how much stamina you have. And as you spend each certain time in the dungeon, your maximum stamina decreases, so make sure not to spend too long. And these are the devices that the sailor instructions you can use to benefit yourself. And as you can see, the requirement skill is rank 7, so the chance for me succeeding is unlikely. So we do the old-fashioned, we're gonna initiate the land battle against them. There is an item called escape rope, like if you have a tough time to get to that rune to interact with to get escape. I believe there's an item called escape rope allowing you to escape from a dungeon if you feel unsafe. Let's start the land battle. Each dungeon has the upper floor, a medium floor and a low floor, but as for Syracuse we have only access to upper floor, but we're gonna spend some time here. Because there are some nice loots that you can get in the dungeon. Keep in mind to check your inventory, because in dungeon you get so many items that you have sometimes that your inventory or your cargo can get full pretty quickly, so keep that in mind. And now we can go to the next floor. And a time lapse resets. And you can also see which floor you are by looking on the left above the screen. You're at floor 2. This is, by the way, also the final floor for this run. And it is the NPC boss with all the minions around. That is why at the start it is better to have offensive land battle equipment with you. Items with you, so you can deal some serious damage against them, because as you can see, my stats aren't that high yet, so it's a pretty struggle to deal some good damage on them. And if you have discovered a dungeon for the first time, you get a discovery card as well. And you can see also we received an expedition ship boarding ticket, which is something we will talk later about it. And apparently we have no inventory space, so we have to discard more and more. I can miss those. Perception Explorer can also be missed. So for those who have we're starting from France and Venice especially. If you start especially as a maritime or even as an adventure trade, you can try this dungeon out, but be sure you have at least swordplay skill with you to help you out in the dungeon, and some decent equipment from item shop you can get. It is the easiest dungeon out of all dungeons you can do, so in case you like to pull around, this is for you then. And dungeon is also a pretty good way to make money for those, because the trade goods you receive, because you get them from a loot, there are no purchase costs being involved, which you will see soon as we try to finish as we try to load our cargo first. Well, we don't need those, so we're gonna do several rounds with this. Disorder. This is when I'm disordered, I won't be able to use any techniques or other items, but that is another reason why antidotes are important. And I got petrification, which temporarily makes me immobile, unable to attack or anything. You could call it freezing in some ways. Oh yeah, that can also happen. Some treasure chests has traps in themselves too. And you can, the only way to prevent that is by having a high level of unlock skill, which unlock skill we're gonna talk more about it later, but be aware, not every chest is safe to be opened. The type of trap chest you can have is a trap chest that can burn some of your cash or burn some of your consumable, and some can reduce the equipment durability, or some can increase your maximum stamina or reduce your maximum stamina. So be aware that some chests has traps in them. Immunity raise is much higher when the boss sees you, so compared to normal NPCs. And now immunity went to 100. While this may take long to take down the enemies, the bright side is that you can grind your land battle skill like this for pretty much efficiently. So sometimes them healing is pretty ideal when you're grinding. However, my swordplay isn't favored at the moment, so the reason why I have advantage off still because the dungeon had a discovery card that I prefer to actually get it first. So again, if you want to grind a specific skill, be sure to be in the right job. We have received a good item, if you get drunk when you are drinking in a bar, you can use this to remove that effect, so you can drink alcohol or have a drink with a barmaid again. No luck with the devices. The ranks that it requires are pretty unreasonable high actually, even for a starter dungeon like this. You do not have to have the exact rank requirement to successfully activate those devices. It can be somewhat low, but the chance success rate is pretty low at that point, so the greater the gap between your skill rank and the required rank, the less likely it will succeed. So keep that in mind. Oh, I didn't know they dropped eye beads. Interesting. I was thinking where the boss was. Ooh, that's a Catacombs amulet. We have received a memorial album. An accessory that gives a slight deep defense, which can be pretty helpful just in case. Each dungeon has its own memorial album as well, so you can get some quite exotic items out of there. Pay always attention how much cargo you have. We can do one more run, and I think that's a good thing, because we are reaching close to the end of the current episode. Ooh! We might get full already. And definitely after this one we're gonna sell our goods. And believe it or not, you can make quite a lot of profit out of it, which I will show. Oh yeah, I've noticed that they fell into a trap, so they lost more health. There are during the battle some traps hidden as well, but I will show that in a later episode as we do more dungeons later on. For now I will just cover some basic in the dungeon. Ooh, purchase order category 1. That's what I mean. You can get some of those from the dungeon as well. Now 1 is pretty good because we need some food stuff maybe for cooking later, so... Good timing, I guess. Yep, we finish it. Now that was the dungeon. It can be pretty fun to do it occasionally if you feel a bit bored with sailing. And if you like to do some land battle. Now let's see how much profit we will make out of this. Because more dungeons tend to have high profitability. Much better than normal selling unless you do local specialty combos. But most of the time with dungeon you have no purchase costs. So as you can see here, there is no cost attached to it. So that makes profit automatically maximized. And as you can see, it's not a joke. We're gonna see if we can sell this at Naples for a better price. So yeah, with account skill we can actually swap to, we can go to Naples, change our job and let the money rain. Okay, we are at Naples, and because we can now change our job. So not only it has an overall better market rate, but we get to change our job and sell it for a better price. I mean, for a better trade XP. Yep, let's switch. Okay, the selling price is roughly the same. Nice, haggle succeeded. And that's a lot of trade XP we gained. So with that we could make quite some money. So we have at least something on bank. We need at least 100k to get the trap skill. But I called for this episode, it was quite some teachings that we have done. And mostly we have discussed about the Islamic ports. And how important this case value is to enter those ports. And that some language can curb it and some other factors. More sea charted. And we discussed about land battle. And about what landing is, how to explore it. And what are the basic skills you need for land battle or in order to survive in land, as well as some basics about the Syracuse dungeon that we have done. So quite a lot of topics covered again. I hope this video episode has been helpful. There are some explanations that I may haven't done properly because I'm now making more episodes than that I am video editing now, because soon there will be maintenance where the XP and everything will be doubled, which are the moments that I won't be playing on Thursday Apocalypse, because I don't want to have bonuses on the character, because I want to make it authentic as possible. I hope you all enjoyed this episode and see you to the next one. Cheers!